The Backrooms, a popular internet horror concept that emerged from a 2019 post on 4chan no less. The Backrooms depict an eerie, endless series of usually yellow, poorly lit rooms, described as having damp, musty carpets, monotonous wallpaper, and buzzing fluorescent lights. The idea is that people can accidentally slip or no-clip out of reality and find themselves in this moist-smelling liminal space, disconnected from the world they know, sometimes accompanied by someone or something they may not understand. From short stories, fan films, and video games, the Backrooms can be explored in almost all mediums. American Horror Stories, the anthology spin-off of American Horror Story, just released this full-budget interpretation of this concept in Season 3. Viewers of my channel know I have a complicated relationship with AHS as a whole. Love the OG seasons until recently, and have really struggled with this spin-off, which somehow has 3 seasons so far. Almost everything here falls flat. The concepts, the acting, the writing, rather deserving of the outstandingly mediocre series rating of 6.3 out of 10. But I'm one of those completionist, arguably masochist horror story fans, and my mentality is I've watched all this content, I can't stop now. So please make this tediousness worth my while by liking this video for more American Horror Story content, and join me as we take a look at Season 3, Episode 5, Backrooms.
You're watching Matthew Rogers.
Due to the writers' strike in 2023, American Horror Stories Season 3 has been put on hold for almost a year. So after 4 episodes dropping in October 2023, now we have the remaining 5 episodes, starting with Backrooms, which I have watched so you don't have to. But spoiler alert if you are interested in checking this episode out for yourself. We're introduced to Daniel, played by Michael Imperioli, who some may know from The Sopranos or more recently Season 2 of The White Lotus. Daniel is an award-winning screenwriter who has become a recluse after his young son disappeared. His best friend and agent shows up to try and convince him to come back out into the world again, and for some reason denies sex trafficking exists, but his efforts to lure him out of the house are futile, and as he storms off, Daniel clips into a back room in the form of an infinite supermarket. We see he is not quite alone as he finds a bloody door accompanied by the sound of a pipe organ, then briefly his son before clipping back to reality 3 weeks later. It's revealed that whilst he was in the Backrooms, they found his son, who was buried under a park.
Do you know we invented hell? We made it. We manifested it.
Hi, I'm Max. I'll be your server. So, the specials are very limited.
He vows to kill whoever did this, storming off again, to be clipped into a more familiar, to us at least, backroom. I must admit I felt a brief amount of hype seeing these uncanny walls and carpet, but this quickly dissipated due to a major flaw with this episode: the ambience. The Backrooms being scary or at least eerie is almost 100% dependent on atmosphere. The sound effects, the music, the lighting, but none of this quite hit the mark. I get the darker lighting choice adds horror elements to a more mainstream audience, but the choir and pipe organ soundscape, as impactful as that could be, isn't. We aren't in a gothic castle here. Daniel finds no other way to escape these rooms than through a small hole in the wall. He sees a gothic-themed feast and is chased out by masked entities, returning once again to reality. Here it kind of breaks the fourth wall as he does a Google search for liminal spaces and watches creepypastas for hours.
Liminal space. It's the area between here and there. Here being reality, there being anywhere else.
Then going to prison to meet the vlogger that claims to have been to these backrooms. There's something so funny to me about watching a mainstream TV show explain deep internet lore to boomers. Kind of breaks any tension there was entirely.
In which one bypasses the normal boundaries of spatial reality.
And in English, that means...
Sorry. I'm a coder, so I look at video games.
And get this, the vlogger that went to the backrooms went there because he killed someone whilst texting and driving. And the only way to exit the backrooms was by telling the truth. Also, these rooms are in the forms of an office and supermarket because he's holding on to human factors of his trauma. I don't get it either, but I digress. Then things get really crazy. Get this, he drives home, then the whole house is surrounded by police. He then has a shootout with said police as some sort of last stand, resulting in a flashback of Daniel having a domestic dispute with his wife, and just because he's stressed out, or at least that's all we're told, he then goes and strangles his own kid to death at the park. So he killed his son, he's dead, and all that's left now is the final back room, escalators to the park with another entity. I just don't understand these quote-unquote villains. It's not explained who this is, and the masked minions are literally just based on a mask in his office. I found no other explanation for them to even be in the backrooms, other than an attempt at being spooky. Needless to say, it is not. Are they random nonsensical entities like you find in the Backrooms video games, or is it an on-the-nose metaphor for him being chased by his demons? God, I hope not. So all this to say, all he needed to do all along was go out the exit door and wait in a waiting room for an eternity with Good Dad magazines. And roll credits. Typical Ryan Murphy project, never knowing how to stick the landing. And we didn't even get enough information for it to be considered ambiguous. Sure, the acting in this one was good, but what good is that by itself? If you're going to try and flesh out a whole traumatic backstory, make a whole season on the Backrooms, or at the very least make the episode longer than 40 minutes. Why waste a renowned concept like this on, well, this? But before you lose hope entirely, there is an official Backrooms movie coming in 2025. I say official because it's being directed by the actual YouTuber who made the Backrooms short films, amassing over 100 million views. But my favourite detail about this project is that it will be backed by James Wan's production house, Atomic Monster, of Saw, Insidious and The Conjuring fame, and the film will be distributed by A24. So the parts are all there, I just hope they keep it eerie, not scary, not entity-fueled jump scares, but liminal. How was this episode of American Horror Story for you? Will you be checking out the rest of the episodes this season? Let me know. Until next time, you can keep up with what I'm watching by following me on TikTok, Twitter, and Letterboxd, which are all linked in the description. But for now, this is Matt Rogers, and that is all.